All right. Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Which is nobody on right now, but you're
That's
hopefully
okay.
people will come on here in a minute.
We're blinking.
We should probably do that again. Yeah, it blinked. All right. Hello, everybody. We're coming to you live from the ranch at Rock Creek. Rock Ridge.
Okay.
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 The ranch at Rock Ridge. If you like Blazing Saddles, you'll totally get it.
It's been a long time, but I did enjoy Blazing Saddles.
So
It's not a movie for you PC correct people.
no.
But for everybody else, please join in.
I'm gonna check the audio real fast. We should be good, so everybody should be able to hear us.
If not, let us know.
That's all right. Can't say that with if my brother gets on, he'll do it anyway, just so we question ourselves.
I know. But that is something your brother would do.
It is. It's kind of a.
But the
kind of
fact that
that
he
way.
was there listening, it's like, yeah.
It's surprising.
We
He
got
usually doesn't want to listen to anything his brother says at all, so
Yeah.
it's kind of surprising. All right, so today, guys, we are in 1 Samuel chapters 19 through 26, and we are not sure if we're going to get through the whole thing, but we're going to try. We are down one redneck. He is had a church meeting he had to be at, I think.
I know.
So
Odd, though.
he may be calling in. He may not be. Hopefully he will.
A pastor in Derrick's has a church meeting in Texarkana.
You know... Well, we've all often known that he is
guess.
not the average.
No, that's just true.
Okay, you being a little bit taller, we're going to zoom that up a little bit. All right.
Yes.
So, I guess we'll go ahead and start with a prayer. You want to pray or you want me to pray?
You go ahead. No.
All right. Our most heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this beautiful day out. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to study your word and to get in your word and try to hear your message to us, Lord. Lord, we ask that you be with us. We ask that you give us discernment and understanding, and we ask that you make it easier for us to understand and to get the message that you want us to have, Lord. We ask that you be with Chris as he travels today. Be with our friend Tammy as she gets her house in order, and we ask that you do a lot of work in her life and help her with all the things and make it an easy transition for her, and put the right people in her life so that the whole process is easy and as pain-free as possible, Lord. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So now then. So up until now, David he has just started to see the bad parts about Saul.
Yeah, was that, yeah.
Just starting to have a little bit of strife with him.
Is he already anointed by Samuel, though, at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anointed by Samuel.
Yep, so, and he's already met Jonathan. Jonathan's had a little bit of notoriety on himself as well.
Saul's kid.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And let's see, we lost my plate. Yeah, and so Saul has been consistently growing more and more, getting more and more fearful of David at this point.
Yeah, anti-David.
People are singing about David, but they're putting it in his warped mind of the time. He seemed like they were putting David ahead of him or in a higher status than him.
And I mean, in his defense, he was the king at the time, and I guess when you're the boss, nobody likes you.
Well, and David had already married
the daughter. Which one?
The daughter Michal.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm pronouncing it. Had already married her, so this is his son-in-law, and he still tried to pin him against the wall a couple times. Well, he slung. The way it was in chapter 8, Saul had a spear in his hand and he hurled it.
Yeah,
so he was trying to pin him against the wall, kind of like a butterfly in a collection.
Right.
So
a shish kebab, if you will.
A shish kebab. So that's kind of where we're at
this
point.
Brain, sorry, guys.
So, question 1. David. It starts with David departing. This is where David gets separated from Saul, and they kind of finally do that departure. Describe the continuing progression in the tactics Saul used to try to eliminate David, as indicated in these passages. And it actually is starting in 19:1-7.
Okay.
You want to read that one?
Sure.
And then we'll review it.
All right. Saul now urged his servants and his son Jonathan to assassinate David. But Jonathan, because of his strong affection for David, told him what his father was planning. Tomorrow morning, he warned, you must find a hiding place out in the fields. I'll ask my father to go out there with me, and I'll talk to him about you. Then I'll tell you everything I can find out. The next morning, Jonathan spoke with his father about David, saying many good things about him. The king must not sin against his servant David, Jonathan said. He's never done anything to harm you. He has always helped you in any way he could. Have you forgotten about the time he risked his life to kill the Philistine giant, and how the Lord brought a great victory to all Israel as a result? You were certainly happy about it then. Why should you murder an innocent man like David? There is no reason for it at all. So Saul listened to Jonathan and vowed, as surely as the Lord lives, David will not be killed. Afterwards, Jonathan called David and told him what had happened. Then he brought David to Saul, and David served in the court as before.
Yep. So Saul had already tried to spear him one time, and David turned the other cheek. So, the question, describe the continuing progression in the tactics on this part. So in this one, he told Jonathan and his servants to kill David. So he's putting it out to other people. You guys, I need one of y'all to go kill David.
Somebody kill this guy, really.
Right, because he's getting a bigger name than me. He's getting a little bit more well-known.
Don't like it.
So, but Jonathan kind of interceded and reminded Saul of what David had done for him and for Israel. Not only him, but also from Israel. So at that point, at first, he kind of tried a direct approach. I'm going to sling a spear at him, pin him against the wall. That didn't work out so well.
We're just going to skip right over that thou shalt not kill part.
Yeah. And so at that point, he's like, okay, well, now I'm going to send people out to do my work for me.
Oh, yeah. He threw the spear at him, didn't he, to send him out for the crazy bride price.
Mm-hmm.
And
the thing is, Saul at this point took an oath not to kill him.
He just did.
And then at that point, and then later on we find out that really it didn't matter.
Oh, he has forsworn his oath.
Right. So let's see. Now we'll go to the continuing progression in the tactics, and this time it's 19:9-10. I'll read this one and give you a little bit of a break.
We're going to skip 8? Oh my gosh.
We're skipping 8. Would you like me to read 8? No, we're not going to read 8. We'll leave it as a surprise. You guys can read it yourself at home. You get to give you a good reason to open the book up, knock the dust off of it. But an evil spirit from the Lord came on Saul as he was sitting in his house with his spear in his hand while David was playing the lyre. Yeah. And Saul tried to pin him to the wall with his spear, but David eluded him as Saul drove the spear into the wall. That night, David made good his escape. So he went from the first time he tried to spear him. This time he tried to pin him. The other time he sent people after him. So he went from direct, indirect, back to direct.
By all means, go back and read 8 when you get a chance.
Yeah, it does help.
I mean, I did.
Really?
Like, really? Why are you trying to? This guy is the greatest.
Yeah. So in 8 it says, once more war broke out, and David went out and fought the Philistines. He struck them with such force that they fled before him. So he is a war hero. Yeah, he is doing big and mighty things for Israel.
I mean,
and yet Saul, because of this evil spirit, because he is not aligned with God anymore, and he has got this evil spirit from the Lord, because the Lord will utilize anything to get our attention or make His will come true. At this point, tried to pin him against the wall. Now, you, me, Chris, we're all veterans and everything. There is a distinct difference between trying to pin someone against the wall versus slinging a spear at them.
Yeah.
It's because at this
I
point,
would.
throwing a spear, you can go, sorry, slipped. I didn't mean to. It was an accident, whatever else. But when you try to pin someone against the wall, which is what this is,
Not good.
to me, I envision him actually stalking him with the spear,
Yeah,
jabbing, and
I was,
trying.
thinking about something earlier. I'm like, hey, and in this situation, if you're gonna throw your spear at me, you better mean it, because when I throw mine, I'm serious.
Or I'm taking yours and throwing yours at you.
And David, way better person than me apparently, because he's just like, ha, you missed me.
Right. So that takes us to 1911 through 24. And it's just still, this is highlighting the progression of all of Saul's tactics as he goes against David. If you want to read down, you want me to?
I don't get it. And so is Michelle. Is she the younger daughter?
Yeah.
So he didn't marry the red
Correct.
Melba Toast, whatever
He
her
did
name
not.
is. Good for him. Okay. When Saul sent troops to watch David's house, they were told to kill David when he came out the next morning. Wow, this guy. They were told to kill David when he came out the next morning. But Michelle, David's wife, warned him, if you don't escape tonight, you will be dead by morning. So she helped him climb out through the window, and he fled and escaped. Then she took an idol and put it in his bed and covered it with blankets, and put a cushion of a goat's hair. Let me do that again. It just cut me all out. And put a cushion of goat's hair at its head. When the troops came to arrest David, she told them he was sick and couldn't get out of bed. But Saul sent troops back to get David. He ordered, Bring him to me in his bed so I can kill him. But when they came to carry David out, they discovered that it was only an idol in the bed with a cushion of goat's hair for the head.
Yeah, go with that part.
I'm sorry. I'm having trouble with the goat's head.
Goat's hair.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That helps. What?
You may have put those on.
Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Why have you betrayed me like this and let my enemy escape? Saul demanded of Michelle. I had to, Michelle replied. He threatened to kill me if I didn't help him. So David escaped and went to Ramah to see Samuel. Wow. You're right. Okay, sorry, folks. That doesn't help. It really doesn't help. Too close.
Okay.
Went to see Samuel, and he told him that all Saul had done to him. Then Samuel took David with him to live at
Nail.
To that place.
At Ramah.
When the report reached Saul that David was in that place in Ramah, he sent troops to capture him. But when they arrived and saw Samuel leading a group of prophets who were prophesying, the Spirit of God came upon Saul's men, and they also began to prophesy. When Saul heard what had happened, he sent other troops, but they too prophesied. The same thing happened a third time. Finally, Saul himself went to Ramah and arrived at the great well in Seku. Where are Samuel and David? He demanded. They are at that place in Ramah. Someone told him. But on the way to that place in Ramah, the Spirit of God came even upon Saul, and he too began to prophesy all the way to that place. He tore off his clothes and he laid naked on the ground all day and all night, prophesying in the presence of Samuel. The people who were watching exclaimed, "What, is even Saul a prophet?" Nope, he's a weirdo rolling on the ground naked. It's like an episode of Cops.
Pretty much.
Different.
Pretty much. So, basically, he sent a death squad after him. They watched the house
He
first.
did.
They had him try to bring him to Saul. That didn't work out.
I'm sure he's got tons of troops, but David's already led these guys in battle and stuff like that, and I'm not doing it.
Mhm.
You,
Yeah.
you want me to go kill David? Are you sure? Because I'm not going to do it.
Right. But they win anyway because
Yeah.
they had strength in
Gotta get
numbers,
paid.
so they thought. Yeah, and to not do it would have probably resulted in
Yeah,
death.
they probably got killed. Sorry.
So
Sorry,
they
guys.
tried that failed, and David's wife helped him out, who was Saul's daughter, is Saul's daughter.
Okay.
So she helped him out. Why? Because she loved him.
She loved him.
Also, she was his wife, and
here's an out there.
he was in the right.
Here's an out there Kevin Hall moment.
Okay.
Why do you have a life-size idol in your house anyway? And, geez, you're pretty strong to pick it up and put it in bed, and then there's the coat hair, but that's big idol, though.
We'll leave that for another day.
Yeah, I mean, somebody should ask somebody.
We're gonna blur something about. We're gonna blur that out.
Yeah, that's just, look into that. If you know people, talk to somebody.
Right. So, after that, then he sent several death squads to Naoth at Ramah to capture him. And when that didn't work, he went himself. Now, the thing about this that I find significant, because I'm used to thinking, okay, him and a couple guys went to this place. No, it's not that. He was a king.
Yep.
He was the king of Israel.
And you would have a retinue.
You would have a large number of people going with you. So
yeah,
he dropped everything. He stopped ruling. Because he's no longer at this point ruling. At this point, he's like, okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and take care of this problem.
What we would
call
a psychopath.
Yeah. So he's leaving all of this, and so he's got his entourage going with him. He's got to have a number of. He's got to have a good portion of his army, personal guard, bunch of attendants, bunch of servants.
Because we got a cooking
so this
set
is
up.
probably a procession leading up to this. I mean, it had to be huge, you would think.
I would think so, too.
Because especially if you're going to go kill somebody, you're going to assume that they're going to try to kill you back.
Yeah, you would think so. But, I mean, he's already turned the cheek a couple, 2 or 3 times here.
And then, I had...
But what gets me is... Saul's got some stones, because he's... he knows Samuel. He knows what, God does through Samuel, and he's going anyway.
Right.
And he's seen what David can do, but I'm going to kill this guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was something. Hi, Tammy. Tammy, since we don't have the iPad, can't get you on the call like we normally do when Chris is here. So if you wanted to add yourself to the Facebook live, you're more than welcome to do that. Please do that, and we can go with your questions or your answers to your questions too, and you can be part of it that way instead of just over the phone like normal. William David Barnes, good to see you on there.
Dub.
And, Lynette Hall, it's good to see you, and hopefully Chris did a good job down there for you guys today.
If you listen real close, Dub, you can probably hear us out the window.
Yeah, Dub probably can. All right. So this brings us to question number 2.
Wow, that was still question 1?
That was question 1. That was so many parts to that, and it's a lot of detail involved. So in the conversation between Jonathan and David, in 20:1 through 9, what is David's basic concern? What is Jonathan's perspective regarding that concern?
I don't even have to read it. Your dad's trying to kill me, man. What's up?
It happens. 1 through 9, I get it. Then David fled from Naoth at Ramah and went to Jonathan and asked, "What have I done? What is my crime? How have I wronged your father that he is trying to kill me?" "Never," Jonathan replied. "You are not going to die. Look, my father doesn't do anything great or small without letting me know. Why would he hide this from me? It isn't so." But David took an oath and said, "Your father knows very well that I have found favor in your eyes," and he has said to himself, "Jonathan must not know this, or he will be grieved. Yet as surely as the Lord lives, and as you live, there is only a step between me and death." Jonathan said to David, "Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it for you." So David said, "Look, tomorrow is the new moon feast, and I am supposed to dine with the king, but let me go and hide in the field until the evening of the day after tomorrow. If your father misses me at all, tell him David earnestly asked for my permission to hurry to Bethlehem, his hometown, because an annual sacrifice is being made there for his whole clan. If he says, 'Very well,' then your servant is safe. But if he loses his temper, you can be sure that he is determined to harm me. As for you, show kindness to your servant, for you have brought him into a covenant with you before the Lord. If I am guilty, then kill me yourself. Why hand me over to your father?" "Never," Jonathan said. If I had the least inkling that my father was determined to harm you, wouldn't I tell you? So, for that one, what was David's main concern?
You know, why does your dad want to kill me?
Right. It was his,
I mean, really, dude.
but the best part about that though, it wasn't why your dad want to kill me. What have I
Yeah.
done? What have I done that your dad wants to kill me? Saul wants to kill me. What is it that I've done? What have I done wrong? What offense have I made against you? So he wasn't even the fact that he wasn't tripping over the whole
Yeah.
point about he's gonna kill me. He's trying to kill me, and that's
It's
terrible.
like, all
but
I've
why?
done
What have I
is-
done? Because he didn't understand. It's kind of like when you get one of them broken relationships right out of the blue. You're like, what did I do?
What'd I do?
Or like some of mine, it's you knew what you did, but you just wanted
I
clarification.
was just being me, and then
That was
something
being me, and here we are.
yeah.
So
Had to happen more.
that was David's main concern. What have I done to deserve this? And I think
Absolutely.
that's kind of any time we receive any type of punishment or we feel wronged. I think that's our first reaction. What did we do?
Yeah.
Second one is why do I deserve this?
I'm like, you know what you did? You let the Lord work through you, and good things happen to you. People talk about you, and then there's a big jealousy factor.
And that kicks in. And so that was David's basic concern. And Jonathan's perspective, what was that on that concern?
He was like, well, Dad's probably gonna do something.
Yeah, Dad
like-
doesn't want to kill you at all.
He's like, if he's in a
Jonathan
good
was
mood, you might be okay today, but if he's not,
Yeah, Jonathan was unaware of what was going on, and he couldn't
Which
believe
is
it. He was,
weird.
yeah. Well,
I mean,
think
well,
about how big of a court that is.
well, yeah,
Now, most places you would think that he'd hear through the grapevine
Oh,
something's
absolutely.
going on, something's amiss. But oftentimes, well, and we've experienced it with friendships and stuff. Sometimes a friend may have something going on, and you're really not letting everybody else know what's
Yeah.
going on.
well,
And I think that plays out in a couple of different ways. But yeah, Jonathan was totally in the dark.
no social media back then, folks.
And all right, Tammy.
Spotty Wi-Fi.
Yeah, spotty Wi-Fi. Sorry, Tammy, but shoot any answers you have out there or anything you want to contribute. The same to the rest of you guys too. If y'all just if you have any insight you want to share with us concerning this or any way you want to contribute, please do. We enjoy it. YouTube, you guys on there don't have that luxury, but feel free to add comments, like, share, and do all that for us too. And really, any comments we try to read and look over as well. So, all right, going on to question 3. What are the major details in the plan Jonathan lays out in 2010 through 23? What is the significance of Jonathan's request from David? So this is a two-parter as well. So, what are the major details in the plan? And that's 10 through 23. You want me to read that one real fast?
Okay.
So,
I'm on.
starting on 10, David asked, "Who will tell me if your father answers you harshly?" "Come," Jonathan said. There's
Hello, my friend.
What's that, my brothers?
Chris. What's up, Chris?
We're sitting here struggling through this. Well,
Yep.
I called in early enough. Y'all still working on this? Hang on, let me call back in a little bit.
Yeah.
oh, I see how it is, Mo.
You're kind of all kinds of funny there. So, are you driving or are you parked?
Oh no, I'm driving.
He's a drive talker.
I've still got 2 hours to go.
Oh, nice.
Really?
I'm
I
sure.
thought you just went to Texarkana.
Well, my house is 2 hours.
Yeah, that is a 2-hour drive.
If you
All
drive
day
the
long.
speed limit,
And we know you don't. So there you go.
so I'll be
Well, there's
home
that.
in about an hour and 15 minutes.
All right. Well, cool. We're on question 3. I'm about to read through chapter 20, verses 10.
Through something or other.
Yeah, 10 through something or other. The something or other being 23. 10 through 23. All right, so David asked, "Who will tell me if your father answers you harshly?" "Come," Jonathan said, "let's go out into the field." So they went there together. Jonathan said to David, "I swear by the Lord, the God of Israel, that I will surely sound out my father by this time the day after tomorrow. If he is favorably disposed toward you, will I not send you word and let you know? But if my father intends to harm you, may the Lord deal with Jonathan, be it ever so severely, if I do not let you know and send you away in peace. May the Lord be with you as he has been with my father. But show me unfailing kindness like the Lord's kindness as long as I live, so that I may not be killed. And do not ever cut off your kindness from my family, not even when the Lord has cut off every one of David's enemies from the face of the earth. So Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, May the Lord call David's enemies to account. And Jonathan had David reaffirm his oath out of love for him, because he loved him as he loved himself. So Jonathan said to David, Tomorrow is the new moon feast. You will be missed, because your seat will be empty. The day after tomorrow, toward evening, go to the place where you hid, where this trouble began, and wait by the stone Ezel. I will shoot 3 arrows to the side of it, as though I was shooting at a target. Then I will send a boy and say, Go find the arrows. If I say to him, Look, the arrows are this side of you, bring them here. Then come, because as surely as the Lord lives, you are safe. There is no danger. But if I say to the boy, Look, the arrows are beyond you, then you must go, because the Lord has sent you away. And about the matter you and I discussed, remember, the Lord is witness between you and me forever. So
That just doesn't get past the risk assessment card.
shooting arrows in
Yeah.
general proximity of where you're laying down at.
Just walk out there and say, Hey man, it's okay.
Well, people would know, people would see. So what he came up with, and the long and short of it, he would go to where David is hiding, shoot 3 arrows at the stone Ezel. Now, and the thing is, if he says the arrows are on this side of you, which means toward Jonathan, means he could come home.
See, this is
Everything's safe.
your left or my left.
Nope, it's near and far.
Okay.
Near and far.
Yeah.
So if it comes,
I'm on the far side, so
where this boy is, if he tells him that it's between him and Jonathan, that means come home, as in come toward Jonathan. The 3 arrows, if he says that they are beyond you, that means they're further out. So that means go ahead and go away, beat feet, and head to the house, because
can we not
can't
take
make
30 seconds to rethink this plan?
So that
This is, if I'm not mistaken, isn't this where Jonathan had talked to his father about David and
he's getting
welcoming
ready
his
to.
back and
Well, first a little bit further before this, they had the talk to where he says, "Hey, this is everything David's done for you. This is everything David's done for Israel."
But this was Jonathan's way of letting David know
This
it's
is
either safe or not safe, correct?
correct. Yeah, because they're about to have the new moon feast, and at first, you see, Jonathan's still unsure. Is thinking that no, my dad's not wanting to kill you. I haven't heard anything about it. He hasn't told me about it. So surely, if that was the case, he would have told me. But it's not. So he was in disbelief. He says, but they used this to find out where Saul's heart is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
I just believe this Jonathan guy's got his head stuck in the sand.
now the second part of this question: what is the significance of Jonathan's request from David in 20:14 through 15? So what I had for it, in 13, Jonathan indicated very clearly. Yeah. First, 2014 through 15. Yeah, I'm still right one. Jonathan indicated clearly that he expects David to be king. There's not any doubt in his mind. He said, David's going to be king. You're going to be king. I'm going to be second. I don't even have a problem with that.
I'm so cool with that.
So, but what he wanted was when David became king, he wishes him to remember his covenant with him and their friendship and deal with him in kindness. In history, whenever one dynasty took over from the other one, especially if it was in a violent way,
yeah, you had to remove
you would kill everyone in the previous dynasty, the family and everything, so that you could keep your dynasty safe.
In redneck talk, you'd kill their mama and them.
You would kill their mama and them.
And them.
That's right. And
All them.
All them.
Yeah, them and the others.
Yeah. All of them.
Yeah. So David wanted, not David. Jonathan wanted him and his family to be kept safe. So he is totally aligning himself with David. He said, David, you're in the right. I'm with you. Even though I know my dad's messed up, but I want all of your enemies to fail, even if it's my father. And I want you to prosper. And I want you to keep me and the rest of my family safe.
Especially my sister, the one you're married to. Come on now.
Yeah, because he sees...
Well,
don't whack her.
At that point, hadn't Saul already taken the sister away from David?
Not yet. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Man,
Not yet. You are jumping ahead. But that's all right.
I wouldn't know that you're jumping ahead because I didn't.
Tammy
do homework.
says that David trusted that God would reveal Saul's heart through the king's response to Jonathan's word. Exactly right, Tammy. And we're about to find out how
She's so
that
smart.
comes about.
Well, there's a lot of biblical people that say that Jonathan and David were, let's just say, closer than friends.
Well, you got to go there.
There's a lot of rumor and inquisitions around.
Yeah.
You're cutting out. You're cutting out.
I see it a little different. I think that Jonathan and David were more than friends. I think they were like us. They were like brothers.
Right. No, that's exactly what it was.
Jonathan has offered David this, I will put my neck on the line just if you will promise me that you will
Not kill my family.
kill everybody.
Yeah.
You will protect us.
Well, and he was fine with being. Some people always want to be the man, the top dog, the head honcho. You got others that are perfectly content in the number 2 spot. It's like I don't even have to be number 1. I can be number 2. I don't have to be the man. I can be the man that knows the man, and I'm kind of good with that.
I don't even have to be in the top 100, really.
So that's where Jonathan is. He's
I don't have to be the P. I'll be the VP.
Yeah, exactly. And two, he recognized it, and we get into this a little bit more in depth a little bit later on. He recognized that no, David was the next anointed. God was passing over Jonathan, which was not normal. Usually, the son took over after the father throughout history, but this was going to be a different. This was going to be a different one because Saul had turned away from God, and Saul had become more. He was more concerned about his own care and his own gain than he was about what God wanted, which is what set him up for all this.
Yeah, and Jonathan acts a whole lot more Christian than
his dad.
Godly. Let me say godly because Christ hadn't been born yet.
Right.
But he acts more godly than a whole lot of people in that part of the Bible because he realizes that God and God's will is first.
Yeah,
I'm second.
That's it exactly.
My personal preferences of what I want to be are second.
Right.
I mean, of course, what you got to do is pay attention. You're like, look at this little guy out here, and he is just doing some wild and crazy stuff and coming away with not even a scuff.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, God is taking care of him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Jonathan's a pretty important figure, and it's not a very long figure in the Bible.
No.
But he does stuff to kind of show us a path of how we're supposed to be, or that's the way I've always seen it.
Yeah. Well,
I haven't always seen anything. I really didn't know who Jonathan was till we were doing this.
To me, and I there's just one of my. I may try to post the link for it on our Facebook page, if I'm able to do that correctly. But there's this one sermon that I've watched numerous times now, and it described how David and Jonathan's relationship is the exact epitome, the definition of what a true friendship is.
Yes.
David came out to him in the wilderness and left the big comfortable palace to go out to the wilderness where David was, which we'll find out in a little while.